T-Talk Productions is happy to announce T-Talk Plus. Under T-Talk Productions, T-Talk Plus will be a venue to have secondary shows such as Sweet Tea and Fresh Brew, among other shows. This platform will also be used to host guests, have in-depth interviews, and the occasional monologue. If you enjoy T-Talk Productions, click the like button, and please do not forget to subscribe. We thank you for your support. Come on down and get some sweet tea.
My name is Tyler. You can also call me TL if I become an author. I'm not an author, though. I haven't written anything. That might go on my book, though. I'm here with, well, gentlemen, introduce yourselves. First in the top left of this particular orientation on my screen is my brother, Sean. Tell me about yourself, Sean. How you doing?
Good, I'm doing good. My name is Sean.
That's
I'm on
good.
the top left screen of Tyler's computer.
Oh, excellent. And below him, but not below him in our hearts, is my brother A. What you got? Tell me, Abs, who you are.
You mean A. Gibson?
Hey.
No, this is Abdiel M from your show T-Talk.
That's right.
Yeah, this is. I'm also guest hosting this show.
Master producer himself. Thank you.
That's right. Thank you.
And that leaves Mr. JG.
JG, this is Josh. You might know me from my beautiful, amazing show,
Fresh Brew,
where we talk about trailers, and we sip a little bit of sweet tea once in a while.
That's good.
That's right.
We're still sipping our tea, right? Everybody still got a little bit of tea?
No, I'm out.
Yep.
No tea.
Okay.
Yep, I do. I have some black tea. Only a little bit left though.
That's right. Well, yeah, still got our last tea. It's not as fresh as perhaps the sweet tea episode that we had, but still brewed today. So don't worry about it. So on today's show, thought we're basically gonna go with a topic that everyone's gonna scream and jump up and down about. And that's Star Wars. Ooh. Let's just talk about Star Wars. Let's get it out of the way.
Okay.
Because eventually we were going to have a Star Wars centric episode, and it'd just be like we were building up to it all of our lives. But
that's right.
Let's just do it now.
Our listeners
episode one.
Like we've talked about Star Wars in the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Not in great detail, but so I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Okay, good. Because we're not going to talk too much about what's already come. Except to say, this is where they went wrong. This is where we hope they go better in the future. So just as an introduction, we're going to go in that reverse order of how we got introduced. Gibbs,
okay.
As far as the movies went, what are your overall thoughts? Just briefly, what was the big deal with them, and what could they have done better?
I appreciate J.J. Abrams as a visual director. I don't like him as a writer per se. I thought The Force Awakens gave us a lot of the old that we needed to bring us out of the prequels era. It was almost perfect for what we needed, having Han Solo and things, having Leia and you know, they really dropped the ball with Luke, but whatever. He was ready for the second part. It was going to be perfect. Last Jedi. It was perfect for me, and it was awful for a trilogy. It completely, it was a waste of 2 hours that you desperately had to have in a film. So that left our boy Abrams with only 2.5 hours to make up for another 2 hours that was missing out of a trilogy. So it really is not a trilogy. It's really 2 films and then a side story on the side in the middle. And then the last one, he did everything he could to wrap it up with what he had, and it just wasn't enough.
Tragedy that was like a slow motion train wreck. That was somewhat enjoyable at the same time. So Abdiel, what do you think? What are your thoughts on the recent trilogy and what should have happened?
Okay, man, what should have happened? All
yeah.
Should have
okay,
happened,
don't tell me your whole fan fiction plot, but
okay, because this is gonna go for real long. But before I say what I think, is it pretty much unanimous between the 4 of us that Luke was not treated well in the movie?
totally
you know,
underutilized.
in the
Yeah.
writing.
Wait, which movie?
Any
All of them, like on the trilogy. I'm sorry, on the trilogy, that the character was not done justice. That's what I mean. Do we all agree on that or no?
I'll give it to you.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm glad that lets our audience know.
Abs, can I interrupt you for just 2 minutes?
Absolutely, dude. I love being interrupted. It's the best.
So just so our listeners know, like, and Tyler and Josh haven't listened to our first 2 episodes. We discussed in the first episode a little bit about Star Wars, and in the second episode, I proposed how to fix Luke Skywalker without retconning anything. Mm-hmm. So just so they're aware that we did talk.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Good deal.
You did mention that, and that
makes
was
me want to go listen to that.
Yeah, I'm curious now.
Well, should you
go first, Abdul? No, I want to hear your thoughts.
Okay. So, wow, like I wasn't ready for this. I wish I was a little bit more ready for this.
Keep it brief, Abby.
But I'm gonna try and keep it brief. As I told Sean on one of the previous episodes, I love this new trilogy. I love it. I adore it. The first 25 minutes on the entire thing, which is to say Force Awakens, right? I loved it when I didn't know what was gonna happen.
That it was gonna be the same
moment. Yeah, exactly. The moment that I can tell you exactly the moment when I felt something weird in my heart, where I felt like sweat dripping down my spine, was when Snoke referred to Kylo Ren as Han Solo's son. I was like, oh no, this is gonna be the same thing all over again. Just family killing each other. So anyway, I don't have a problem with that premise that I just mentioned. That's what we have in the original trilogy. That's fine. But it's just that we already got that. What I wanted this trilogy to be was, instead of just being the same basically plot line than the original trilogy, I wanted to see a sort of reversal in roles between the Empire and the Rebels. I wanted to see the Rebels now be in an advantageous position, and the Empire, or the remnants of the Empire, are the ones that are now trying to get everything back together again. That's one thing that I wanted to see. And I'm just sort of skipping some details. I'm trying to be brief. And I would have liked the movie to have taken place in the future, where only Luke is alive. The rest of the cast, the rest of the characters had died of old age. Luke is alive because of the Force, so he's able to extend his life somewhat because he's so strong in the Force. And he doesn't necessarily need to be a Yoda again. Like, he doesn't need to necessarily train the newer generation of the movie cast, but it would have been cool to have him have maybe a moment in the trilogy where he just kind of showed everyone who's the real boss here is. They are characters that they've done this in the past in other shows that I can think of right now, like the Avatar, the Legend of Korra, where they have an old character, an old mentor character, and then on the sequel show, or the sequel show, they have that a character that's similar to that one, but he's not doing the same role. I don't know if that makes any sense, but anyway. So I would have liked that, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are the two big points that I thought it was a bummer that they didn't try to explore that in the trilogy.
I understand. And Sean, what did you think about the trilogy as a whole and where it went wrong?
Without repeating myself too much, they just ruined all of them. Leia had fought for years, right, for the rebellion, and it's gone. Like, all her work was for nothing. Yep. Han Solo's son kills him, and Luke is this weirdo who it is not the same character. It's not the same person at all. They really wanted to. Have you guys seen on YouTube? It was on YouTube. There was a documentary kind of showing how they filmed the Rise of Skywalker. It's I think it's 2-hour documentary. So
I've heard about. I haven't seen it, but yeah, I I've read about it online. I need to see it.
So from visually standpoint, like how they filmed certain things, it was really cool. But watching that documentary made a lot more sense to me as to how like they actually, because the story of Rise of Skywalker makes no sense at all. Like the blade points is a map to a crashed Death Star area that they have to go into. That makes no sense. When I watched the documentary, I could totally see how like all these pieces came together. They basically were trying to like film certain things, and like they found out that they could do it. Like the fight scene between Rey and Kylo Ren, the water's splashing up on them. Right, they're on the Death Star. They like found out that they could film that like a few weeks before they filmed it. So like all of a sudden, like he had to like piece together how they came onto the Death Star. You know what I mean? Like, and so like you had like this, what you might call like a MacGuffin, where like it kind of pushes the story forward, right? So you had a map to the Death Star, and then you had a map to like where Palpatine was, but like none of those made any sense. Like you plug in this computer thing into like a spaceship, and it takes you to Palpatine. Like at no point did the script make any sense at all. And that's probably true for like all the trilogy movies. But anyway,
just taking my own thoughts from echoing things that you've already said. Like Josh said, yes, having different directors and unexpected things happening with who's directing and writing, and part of that is just like the breakneck pace at which they're trying to release these things. It made it totally incohesive and nonsense as far as an overarching story. Then with the actual decisions that they made, yes, it invalidated the original trilogy. Everything that they did, those characters did, was undone. Then, like someone else also said, you see absolutely nothing about the New Republic. You saw the New Republic for 5 seconds as it was about to be burned up by the third Death Star. A thing that they keep using over and over again. And then, like kind of like someone else said too, you saw absolutely nothing of these characters between 6 and 7. What did they do? For instance, Luke Skywalker. You missed his entire career as a Jedi, as the supposedly legendary best Jedi ever. You go from his very beginning, he became a Jedi. All this time goes by. Now he's a hermit in hiding. And even though he redeems himself in the end, he doesn't actually do anything other than one last-ditch use of the Force. So, just kind of a lot of wasted potential there for all this hype about it's the new Star Wars movies. We're making billions of dollars on these things. Anyways, so my friends.
Well, real quick, I know we're not supposed to go into hypotheticals, but if they had started the film like where Luke was training the people and before Kylo had fallen, wouldn't there have been a way better start to this story? I mean, start at the beginning. Start with the intrigue of who's the Snoke character. You get to see the new Jedi, the New Republic. I mean, Luke looked great in those parts. He didn't look old or anything. It looked perfect. Like if they had started there and then we had jumped a little bit and then we had come to if we had just put any forethought into this trilogy. That's all I have to say.
Well, I mentioned it in one of the. We're gonna keep saying this, but I mentioned it in one of the other 2 episodes that we're gonna release soon. Well, by the time this releases, our audience will have already heard those. But Bob Iger actually confessed in his autobiography book that he released that they rushed Star Wars and that he felt like they rushed it. So yeah, I think it's I think it's no secret that this new trilogy was not handled properly. Say what you will about the old trilogy, the one that the old trilogy is the original trilogy. I mean the prequel trilogy, the one that George Lucas did. Say what you will about that one, but they didn't rush those movies, and those movies, the script is terrible, but the story makes sense, and the plot points move organically. I never felt with I felt sometimes when I watched the prequel trilogy before and today, I'm like, what the heck are these people saying? Why did that character? Why is this guy talking about sand? I don't get it. Like, what? So,
for the memes,
and there's
guys.
more.
It's for the memes.
I truly, deeply love you. What? No one talks like that. That was Padme, by the way, to Anakin in one of the episode 2.
Oh, that was George Washington.
So,
I mean, George Lucas.
George Lucas talking, yeah.
Ventriloquisting through Natalie Portman.
I was telling my wife that, that this, it just, I can see George Lucas saying things like that.
Yeah.
Can I piggyback on you, Abdiel? So
absolutely, go ahead.
In one of the documentaries on the original trilogy, Harrison Ford, Luke Hamill, and oh man, her name escapes me. Help me, guys.
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher all talk about how like the dialogue that George Lucas writes was so bad, but I don't know. Like I watch it and I enjoy it. Like I don't come away from it. I mean, granted, you had 2 other directors who kind of were a filter for George Lucas's bad dialogue, and George Lucas he's more of like a story guy. He's like a storyboarder. He like as far as directing and
he's a massive geek.
Yeah.
But I mean, to put on the table, and you're mentioning that documentary. I think it's Empire Dreams. George even recognizes that his wife is the one that saved the first film. It was so bad, but her and 3 others were able to re-edit the whole thing and make it. I mean, it's an incredible film.
Yeah.
And he was a young guy. He didn't have like this legendary status behind him. Everybody says, "Oh, do what Mr. Lucas wants." He wasn't like. He's a young guy working with other people his own age. Some of the actors like Harrison Ford was not that young, and so when Harrison Ford says, "George, this is garbage. This is script. I can't say this stuff," and he's like, "Okay, say what you want."
Yeah, and I just want to say I don't hate George Lucas. I actually really like him as a person. Like I know him personally. And we're friends.
When you went over to the Skywalker Ranch, you were hanging out.
No, but when I see his interview, I love seeing his interviews, and I love hearing him talk. And this is a kind of guy that when you see him walk into a room, he's like wearing tennis shoes and jeans, and he has his shirt tucked in, and you can see his keys like hanging from his side. Like he's a very real person, and I really appreciate that. And he's very creative, and I think he's a genius because he's very creative on one hand, but on the other hand, he's also really good at just managing people. He's a really good producer. And thanks to him and a whole bunch of other people that worked with him, but he was like in the center of everything. He really revolutionized Hollywood and the movie industry. A lot of the special effects that we see today that we take for granted, that all exists because of him.
Pixar.
And because of Pixar exists because of Pixar used to be a group in Light and Magic. What's it called? Studio.
Lucas Ranch.
Industrial Light and Magic. Pixar was a group that used to work with in that company. Photoshop came from Industrial Light and Magic. 3D design, as we know it, came from Industrial Light and Magic. There's so much. THX was another one that focused on audio. The Lucas Art did video games for the longest time and did some of the best video games ever developed. It's so this guy was really ahead of the curve in many ways. So in mad respects to George Lucas.
My wife
not
made
just
an
in Star Wars,
interesting.
but he's an incredible storyteller. He's an incredible writer in his own right for the Indiana Jones films and his early stuff too. I mean, it's all really well done.
My wife made an interesting observation about Luke. She said that when he was younger, his beard was like his whole face. And then as he's gotten older, his double chin has become like almost bigger than his actual face.
His dominant
dominant quality is his double chin right now, but in that respects.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, guys, that's
okay.
We've really gone on about that, huh? We certainly have feelings about Star Wars movies.
Oh my goodness.
But that's the old yesterday's tea. So now we gotta talk about the future of Star Wars. Future of Star Wars for now is not movies. We don't know what the movies that come up next are going to be about. Obviously, we'll go see them. We assume Disney will, put half a decent effort into it. Maybe think about what they've done wrong the last few years. But so for now, the future of Star Wars, at least as far as visual media is, and I can say video media is the TV. So
Yeah.
really quickly, and I'm gonna give you guys. This is gonna be like ESPN First Take or whatever show it's gonna be like, and you get 30 seconds to answer this.
I like it.
Sean, you go first. What does Mandalorian need to do in season 2? 30 seconds. Go.
Ooh. Okay, can I change it just a little bit?
Yes.
I'm gonna use my 30 seconds then. So I read something that prior to Kathleen Kennedy being removed from her role as one of the primary people, she wanted to do something where there was no Jedi and it was all about dinosaurs. Did you guys read this?
No.
Oh,
What?
No,
this is the first time I hear about this.
So not Star Wars.
No.
Oh no, she wanted Jedi. No, I'm sorry. She wanted Jedi, but she wanted to take the wars out of Star Wars, and it was about dinosaurs.
Okay.
So thankfully she that with the new CEO that I heard that got slashed.
That was already
Okay,
we already
great.
had enough dinosaurs in the arena during the Attack of the Clones. That was all we needed.
Yeah.
I kind of
Okay.
touched on this in a previous episode, so I'll acquiesce to the other two.
Oh, to Mandalorian? Okay. Abdiel, any thoughts on Mandalorian? 30 seconds, give or take.
What was the question?
What do you want to see in season 2?
I want to see Boba Fett. I want to see a Jedi. Actually,
Uh-huh.
I'm all for not having Jedi all the time, but I think you take away Jedi's out of Star Wars, you're taking away the yolk out of the egg. You're taking away the milk out of the ice cream.
Yeah. And obviously
That's
they're
kind
using the
of a
Force in
simple
it, so they know that's a
Yeah.
key component.
However, just to finish it, Mandalorian is great. I love it. Everything about it it's awesome. And yeah, we talked about this a little bit in the other shows, but they're doing well. They're doing well.
Good.
John Favreau has to be a key component. Moving forward.
Yes.
His fingers in the pie.
More John Favreau, less that Star Wars clone guys. Clone
Dave
Wars
Filoni.
guy.
Dave Filoni, yeah.
Dave Filoni, that's right.
Yeah, he's got to get a little more experience in directing and everything like that.
You know,
Live action.
but Dave Filoni is really the heart. He's the Force. I mean, he's what brings the Force to Star Wars now. He's the only person that really understands it, apparently.
Okay, Gibbs. So
I believe that.
Season 2, go.
I think that I agree with everybody so far. Season 1 was incredible. I think we need to hold on to that cool factor. I think that means a lot to our character right now. We can get to know him. We can have more character development in season 2. I think they're saying Ahsoka Tano will probably be in season 2, which will be nice. That's one of Filoni's love children things, so he has to make sure it's there. But I think that factor of how cool the Mandalorian is and how, even as a grown man, you're like, I want to wear that armor. It's just so perfect. I think having that Western and samurai feeling continue and not try to change it up too much, but allow us to get used to that, live in that world a little bit longer.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm excited to see Ahsoka Tano probably appear in season 2. I'd also be fine if the Sabine Wren, the Mandalorian girl with the colorful helmet from Rebels, was also in it. In my opinion, you can save what's the kid's name? Ezra and Thrawn can be season 3.
Very good.
Save that for later. Don't cram it
Very,
in
very
there.
good. Yep.
Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little more cohesive, because there's not a ton of episodes. A little more cohesive storyline and less episode of the week stuff in the middle like they did in season 1. I'd be okay. That's just my personal opinion.
What do you mean? What do you mean,
Oh, just kind of how they were just kind of planet hopping and just dealing with individual situations that had nothing to do with the overall story.
Yeah.
It did give us some cool, help us get to know the Mandalorian and his history a little bit, but I don't think that needs to be a recurring thing where we just have isolated episodes in future
I don't know.
seasons.
I feel like the episode, it was almost like a Stargate episode where they're on that little forest planet with the tribe. between that and then breaking into the
prison.
jail,
That was
those were incredible. Like that added a lot to the show.
Yeah, that episode where they do basically Samurai 7, but with the Mandalorian, where they turn the village.
Man.
That was so good, dude. That was really good.
I love that.
I'm actually gonna watch that episode probably today.
Yeah, good deal. You got me thinking about it.
They're very bite-sized. That's good. Okay,
and by the way, okay, no, go ahead.
Okay, next thing, Clone Wars season 7, 30 seconds ish. Go. What do you feel about it?
I fell asleep watching the first episode.
No, good deal. Did you watch the previous seasons? Like, were you tied into Clone Wars hype at all?
I really no, I haven't watched all the seasons because I just it's very hard for me to stay awake through some of those episodes.
Mm-hmm.
However, the last season is the season 6, right? And season 5, great seasons, both really good. I watched all of them, really really nice. I was trying to watch everything. Just to give you a little bit of background, I was trying to watch the entire thing, and I started with season 1. I finished season 1, but it was really hard. I decided to not go for season 2, 3, and 4 because I just couldn't. So I jumped to season 5 and 6 because I've heard from a lot of people that they're really good, and that was true. I was really pleasantly surprised of how good they were. So I haven't seen season 7. I started watching the first episode. I didn't finish it. I know that it's not been getting excellent reviews. Some of the episodes have been getting pretty bad reviews actually online. So yeah, that's. I'm not really looking forward to it. It's been on my Disney Plus feed for a while, and I'm like, I don't even care.
Yeah, I'm personally also waiting on it for now. I was waiting for several episodes to be released in total before I start watching a few of them. What I did for seasons 1 through 6 recently was I found an essential episodes guide online, and so have watched about 8 to 10 episodes of each season, and kind of over the last few months. That's what I did, and I got to be ready for season 7, but I haven't started yet.
Well, do you know that Disney Plus actually have their own essential guide as well,
like official? There's not that many episodes in it.
Okay.
All right, Sean, do you have any thoughts about Clone Wars?
Season 7 of I've watched every episode. Terrible. How many episodes are there going to be?
I think it's 12 total or something.
They're following Ahsoka Tano, right?
Yeah.
And okay, I hope this doesn't sound bad, but I think the choosing of Rey, the female character, was an excellent decision. Okay, I think that was a great pivot from Luke being the main character to using a female to drive the story. I thought that was a good choice. The story was really bad, but the actual idea of a female driving the character every single time, I feel like it doesn't have to be that way. Maybe that's because I'm a guy, but I don't know. I just feel like she has a story right now, a side story that is adding zero to what's actually going on. There's no point to anything that's going on in that story.
But I'm surprised that the show is not doing better, because you would think with the time that they had, with the way they've messed up some of the Star Wars movies, and with the passion that Dave Filoni has for Star Wars, you would think this would have been a home run. That's what I thought.
If I had to guess, I would say Dave Filoni is probably not super concerned with syncing it up with events leading up to episode 3, and more with the Mandalorian plot syncing up with the show that happens, 25 years in the future or whatever, or 30 years later.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay, Gibbs, Clone Wars. Be brief. Your feelings.
I'm a huge fan of Clone Wars. I have not seen but maybe a dozen episodes I really didn't like. I loved every single season. I watched them over and over sometimes, especially before. Yeah. I was really excited for this season, and I was really excited to see Bad Batch actually come out, because it's been around the web for a long time. Mm-hmm. You could read the stories and everything about it, because they didn't think they would ever make it. Well, it was nice to see it. It was nice to see it come to an end. I have to agree with Sean. This Ahsoka thing's who cares? It's boring. It's super boring, and I can't get into it. But I mean, I'm hoping that in episode 11 and 12 we'll get to see a Clone Wars version of episode 3, somewhat. Maybe a different perspective, but we'll see.
You know what I really want is, I want 2 things: Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker going to town. because like Obi-Wan Kenobi like secretly is he's like he's as powerful as they need him to be whenever they need him to be powerful, and he's as weak as they need him to be whenever they like he kills Darth Maul. He pretty much kills the strongest Jedi ever, but then all of a sudden like when he kind of passes out in like at obscure times in like the prequel trilogies, like I really feel like they need to make him identify him as being like probably one of the strongest Jedi to have ever lived.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so, and I think he's recognized as that by true Star Wars fans. Obi-Wan's power is not just in his ability to fight and to use the Force. It's his wisdom as well.
Very likable.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway.
Oh, very good. Yeah. So I hope it I haven't seen it yet, like many of you have started to see a little bit, but I hope it turns around by the end for all of your sakes and my own. All right. One more show to be vaguely interested in is at some point we're going to get the Cassian Andor show.
That's right, yeah.
Gibbs, why don't you go first? Do you care about that? And what would you actually want from that?
I do care because the first thing that we see in Rebels in Rogue One I was really intrigued by was seeing how the rebellion is not handling things the way good guys you would think would handle things. And Cassian was the character to show us that, to make it more realistic, I guess. So I'm interested in the character and seeing what they can do. Of course, always in the Star Wars universe, you love that. See more of maybe the rebellion at that time, because I really liked Rogue One. I liked the world they set up around it.
For me and for maybe some of our listeners, he is the main character. Or he's not really the main character. He's like the guy in Rogue One, right?
He's there the whole time. That's all we know.
He's played by Diego Luna.
But is it before or after Rogue One? I haven't really researched this.
I think it's
I don't know either,
prequel.
actually.
It's a prequel, yeah, because of what happens in the end.
He dies at the end.
Well, yeah, but I had heard that they were gonna like retcon that they somehow survived the blast.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I can see that. But
why would they do that?
Don't do that.
That would ruin a good movie, in my opinion. But okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I had heard. So I don't know. Do you
Maybe
know,
that's
Tyler,
what
if it's
happened.
before for sure?
I've heard that it's going to be before.
Okay.
For sure. I can't imagine Disney doing that to themselves. Oof.
Yeah, I hope not. So I think Cassian Andor is an interesting character just because he's so different. He's skinny, he has an accent. I like seeing that character in Rogue One, so I'm interested to see more of him in a TV show where we're gonna have a chance to see more of him being developed and whatnot. So we'll see. I thought he was interesting, just to clarify, but I didn't thought he was very good.
Mm-hmm.
The character of Cassian Andor. So I'm ready to see him become a better character in this new TV show.
In the right hands of writers, he could be a really good character. He's just kind of a blank slate in the film. There's not enough time for him.
I feel like what more could they do between episode 3 and episode 4?
It's been mine.
Like I felt like Rogue One was like a perfect bridge. You have all these like I don't know. I just don't see like a need.
And Rebels and Solo, it's all there already.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. Move on.
Okay.
On. I guess we'll have to talk about that at some point too, because they are moving on.
Yeah. Okay. And one. Sorry, I did forget one. MBL, you go first. Obi-Wan Kenobi show. 30 seconds go.
What
are your thoughts?
Super looking forward to it. Evan McGregor is looking great. I love that character, Obi-Wan, my second favorite character in the show.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I don't know, but we don't know anything about it, so there's nothing I can say. But I'm
potentially could be the greatest thing up there with Mandalorian. Sean,
potentially.
I think they need to. Yeah, I think they need to like cement him as like a solid Jedi like unquestionably.
Mm.
But they'll keep it grounded too. It wouldn't surprise me if they didn't go off planet.
That they don't go off planet?
Yeah, like maybe there's an episode or two where he has to go off to take care of something, but I mean, it seems like he just kind of kept an eye on Luke Skywalker. There's a lot to Tatooine we don't know about, other than like what 2 cantinas or 2 spaceports or something like that. So I don't know. Maybe there's some plot takes place on a planet. I don't know.
You know what I think could happen? I think they could possibly do this where like
I'm a little nervous about it.
where Rey. So at one point, Palpatine has a son, right?
Yeah.
At one point, Palpatine has a son, but I heard that might not be the case anymore.
I think it's like
That
a
it
clone
might-
son.
A clone son, something, I don't know. If
Boba
they keep
Fett.
him
Well,
being
but he does have a son. Isn't the Skywalker Awakens
A clone of himself.
it might be a clone of himself.
Rey
And then
is
that
his
clone
daughter,
went on to have
basically.
a daughter named Rey.
Oh, okay. So the
Possibly.
so
I
the
don't know
other
if that's
guy's
for sure
not- so the other guy is not the son. Is a clone of himself, a younger version of himself.
Yeah.
I think that's in the book, right, Tyler?
Yeah, kind of like Jango Fett
Right,
said,
okay.
Boba Fett's my son. It's his clone.
Uh,
Genetically the same
Yeah, it's
person,
clone.
but
Oh,
mentally
okay.
different.
But because
I
he
didn't
had
know
like
that.
no force
Okay.
powers, like Palpatine was not interested in
Right.
him and like abandoned him. And
Wow. So
Yeah,
Rey's
daughter.
actually Palpatine's daughter.
Yes, this is taking things
Kind of.
off topic, but J.J. Abrams just said in an interview a few days ago, he talked to George Lucas recently. George Lucas said, or maybe he talked about something George Lucas said to him a couple of years ago, but he said, oh yeah, Palpatine in the original trilogy is a clone of the prequel trilogy. Palpatine.
Mm,
It's kind of,
okay.
what?
Interesting.
So three
I don't
three
know.
trilogies, 3 different versions of the same guy.
Palpatine.
3 different versions. Well, okay, my thing is maybe Obi-Wan will go off planet to go kill the son, but decides not to.
Oh, I guess you'd have to know about it, huh? We never
I
see
thought that- I think
Obi-Wan's Force Ghost in the sequel trilogy to tell us what he knows.
Have you guys read that thing that Obi-Wan, like some fans think that Obi-Wan was a clone?
I could care less at this
In the-
point.
Of who?
Who was a clone? Who wasn't?
No, that the whole clone. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of the clone. They're so talking
They
about
done
clones,
cloned
guys.
out.
The reason being is because he doesn't remember R2-D2 and C-3PO in the prequels or in the originals.
He was being
And
coy.
so-
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a yeah.
Easily explained away
You
without
don't
bringing
see a
clones
lot
into
of
it.
them. Yeah.
All right, Gibbs, Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
They brought on a writer, Joby Harold. The only thing he's written is King Arthur: Legend of the Sword. So I don't know. Hopefully it's good. I mean, like always, if it's in the hands of the right people, it could be amazing. And obviously, Obi-Wan is a super beloved character, and everyone wants to see more of him. But I don't know. It could go either way.
All right, and very last thing to ask of you, it's very, very brief now, is we have this High Republic era. It's coming to comics, young adult books, and adult books, or a variety of things. It probably will spill into television, maybe movies someday. But the 200 years before Phantom Menace, there are the rule of 2 Sith, but they're in hiding. The Jedi are at their peak, and everybody's doing great. There's no humongous threat, and they're not really considered corrupt yet. So, Sean, are you excited about stories coming out of that era?
So I had heard that they were not going to move forward with that because that was Kathleen Kennedy's like stepchild, love child, or whatever you want to call it, and that's where the dinosaurs were going to come into play.
Well, on April 2nd,
No, that-
2 days ago,
That is happening.
StarWars.com.
The High Council is actually
It's
happening.
happening.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
send you guys
for
a
sure.
link. Yeah, they're releasing
No,
more
I know-
information
I know.
about the Jedis. Yeah.
Yeah. They made a big reveal event and everything.
What could
it's
possibly
happening.
like? Would there be a civil war between the Jedi?
No,
Like-
so okay, so I think you know a little bit about this, Sean. You know about the video game The Old Republic. So
Yes.
this is what they're doing. Back before Disney bought Star Wars, there was this extended universe of Star Wars that was in the past, way in the past, called The Old Republic, and also a lot of books came, a lot of comics books came from that, video games. I think it was a video game that actually started it off. the video game by BioWare. But
that took
this
place,
is what that is.
But that took place thousands of years before.
Yeah, but it's the same idea, though. It's the same idea. They're doing the same thing. Yeah, and a lot of people have been asking for that, myself included. I love the Old Republic era. They have an MMO. It's really big within Star Wars fan, that era. So the High Council is a way of bringing that. It's a way of Disney.
High Republic.
Yeah, it's a way of Disney being able to have their own Old Republic now, because that's a big market out there that people are invested in.
I'll be happy with it as long as it's not dinosaurs.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind a Jedi riding a dinosaur with his a Velociraptor. He's just on top of a Velociraptor.
I mean, what
with his lightsaber?
The Mandalorian, the thing that he rides on in the planet with the
some kind of dinosaur.
Half these creatures look like dinosaurs of different sizes, so we just don't need to call them dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Okay, Gibbs, you excited for the High Republic?
Yeah, I mean, the video that they released shows all the main writers of the concept getting together in a room, and they worked for, I think they said weeks. They got together and they came up with just concepts of Star Wars, but different, and trying to freshen some stuff up, trying to change some things. You could see the concept art online pretty readily of the characters, and then after that they took whoever's best at each section and assigned them. Okay, you're going to write this book. You're going to write this. It's pretty much exactly what the trilogy that we just complained about should have been. They have it all planned out, and it seems, of course we haven't seen anything, but it seems like it's going to be really interesting. I'm really excited. Like Abdiel said, the Old Republic is the best part of Star Wars for all of us who grew up around that gaming time.
With names like the only people that I knew about were Claudia Gray and Charles Soule, but they've done really, really good stuff with Star Wars already before being involved in this project. So it's going to be really exciting. Mm-hmm. One thing to tease you with is they have a Wookiee Jedi. His name is Burryaga
that's right.
Aga Burry. I mean, classic right there.
I love that.
Wow.
So that's going to be something to look forward to. Anyways, that's what we're looking forward to in the future when it comes to Star Wars. Movies, television, other media. There's a lot of potential, really cool stuff on the horizon. Disney has not completely lost us yet, even if they stumbled somewhat in the last few years. So we'll pick some other franchise or category of entertainment or something in the future and talk about what's fresh, what's being brewed up for us, whether we're excited or not so much. And until then, this has been your premiere lengthy episode of Fresh Brew. Join us again.
This has been Sweet Tea, a Tea Talk Plus podcast, hosted and written by Tyler. Tea Talk Plus, Sweet Tea, is a product of Tea Talk Productions. If you like what you heard, like and subscribe, and please consider supporting the show on Patreon. Link is in the description below. For questions, corrections, requests, and ideas, please email us at teatalkproductions@gmail.com. You can also use the DM service on Patreon or the YouTube comment section. We're available on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Patreon. Thank you and goodbye.
Come on down and get some sweet tea.